Hi there, it's me Salom. Welcome back to my channel. Before I proceed to tell you why I'm here today, please subscribe, okay? We are taking a quick break from our Study Abroad series to talk about another trending issue which is of public interest, the hijab. While the world protests racism against the black community, a young lady in Ghana has brought back to life the controversy surrounding the wearing of the hijab. Zainab Alhassan has accused organizers of Ghana's most beautiful beauty pageant of discriminating against her. Zainab, a Muslim, joined other contestants to audition in this year's contest as the Upper West regional rep but was not selected. She's however alleging that the judges disqualified her because she refused to take off her veil, which is her identity. After posting her story on Facebook citing TV3, organizers of the contest for discrimination, many opinions have been expressed, with some disagreeing with her and others sympathizing with the young lady, claiming that no woman should be discriminated against. Some have rubbished the claim of discrimination and argued that organizers have their own set-down rules, including dressing code. A section of the Muslim youth is divided over the issue and have been expressing diverse views on social media. Two gentlemen, Zakaria and Rashid, are here with me today to share their views on this entire rant. Stay with us.
Everyone is entitled to his own opinion. And Zainab being going in for the GMB, we all understood that it is not religious. It's not religious program. You get it? And for that matter, Zainab wouldn't have gone there to participate. And the first thing is that Zainab wasn't going there because to represent Islam or Muslims. She was going there because there was something in her that she wanted to exhibit to the world. Besides, having the veil over her, there was intellect and then something intelligent in her that she wanted to show off to the world, blending that with her culture. And we all also understood that GMB is to liberate all Ghanaian young ladies together with different background of their culture. Is that okay? So that GMB was something opportunity for her to go and then exhibit her talent for the world to buy and then to see her talent, and also to transform her community. And she has chosen the way for herself. I don't know if you get me. She chose the way for herself. And looking at the previous years, young Muslim ladies have gone through that with choosing their own way into the program, and they weren't having any problem on that. So Zainab hijab, we are trying to contribute everything of it to Islam, which I stand to differ. So that is my point. I'm standing to differ in contrast to the view of in conjuring it to Islam. Because
okay, which religion gives way to women to wear the hijab? Like, is it not Islam?
Yes, you see, Islam religion gives the privilege for young ladies to wear hijab. But in a nutshell, it is also a culture. To some people, she was going in there to represent Islam. She would have known that that platform is not in a primary sense, it's not meant for Muslims or Muslim young ladies to go in. But she was going in there because of the social intellect that she wanted to display to the world of what is beneath her hijabi. In a sense, I don't know where it gets me.
Yeah,
in a sense that she bought the form. There was no restriction involved in hijabi contesting, and
then they didn't even state that you should wear hijab, right?
Yes, they didn't even state that you should wear hijab. So she could have also chosen to unveil herself, but she said she wants to use the hijab. She wants to use hijab throughout the contest, and then they agreed. maybe along the line they agree, and they were even asking her question on that, and she just proposed everything on that to them. I don't know where it gets me.
Yeah, I'm
So
going.
along the line, along the line, they are trying to zero it down to Islam, which I stand to differ. If in a nutshell, Zainab was going in because on the basis of Islam, Islam does not support in that tradition, in that for a lady to go in.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm clear.
Oh,
So
yeah,
Zainab was there. Yeah, Zainab was there because of, her ambition, but not to stand in line with Islam.
Okay.
I don't know if you get me.
Yeah, I get it.
So they could have told Zainab that, oh, maybe this we don't actually along the line we might need you to unveil all those things. If you can't, then I think there's no need for you to even pick the nomination, not even to go in for this.
My view personally is that if you believe you are qualified to go for something, go for it. You understand? And then also, she made it a religious issue now that she has been discriminated against based on her beliefs, and not just because of anything, based on her beliefs that she won't take off the headgear. You understand? So to her, what she is fighting for is recognition for all Muslims to be able to participate in such an activity. Or if even it is not just Ghana's most beautiful, the opportunities that she consistently lost because of the headgear that she did. She studied journalism, and then people were telling her that if she wants to make it far, she has to stop wearing the headgear because nobody will hire her. And that on 2 different occasions, she lost certain opportunities because of that. And you see, when she puts it this way, it raises a lot of issues because we live in a country where for some time now, even though we are trying to hide from this fact, people are being discriminated against for the purpose of simply because they are wearing the headgear or they are in hijab. People, it has happened, and I have heard stories, and then I have witnessed it on countless occasions. So people are being discriminated against based on these things. So when she brings it out this way, of course, it incenses a lot of people, and so they would want to support her. They want to be on her side. But then, till now, I personally haven't heard from the other side, that is from the judges, and they all know want an apology for disqualifying her. They have in-house rules for their competition as well. And so when they decide based on their own rules that she doesn't qualify to go to the next stage, she doesn't qualify to make it, there is nothing anyone can do. But then when they base her disqualification on her being in the headgear and stubbornly not wanting to take it off, then it also brings an issue. More so when they have advertised prior with a picture of someone in a headgear, which actually made her feel that if this year is going to be unique and someone, even the advertisement is having someone in the headgear, then let me also go with my headgear.
Okay, so that's a miscommunication on the part of
the organizers.
Yes.
So now that we've spoken about all these social issues, we want my view as a Muslim. And then, like I was telling her herself yesterday, that opinions as they are, we all are entitled to have opinions, but we are in a religion which commands us to follow the commandments of Allah. And these commandments were given down to the prophets of Allah. So since I'm speaking English, let me just use God. So God revealed a book to his messenger. And then the messenger was the one who brought us the book. And when he brought us the book, it is just like any law. Excuse my use of language, because we believe it is superior to any other thing. But then, for the purpose of this discussion, it is like any law. So there is the mother document, which is the Constitution. And then subsequently, you realize that there comes a time when a question of interpretation comes up. And then people might be confused as to what really is the meaning of a clause in the Constitution. And for that matter, they probably go to the Supreme Court for interpretation. And then this Supreme Court hands judgment that this conflicting or diverse opinions that you have about this particular article in the Constitution, this is what it actually is supposed to mean. And most often than not, before they even arrive at this judgment, they also look at the intention of those who sat down to create the constitution. So for that matter, our belief is that God is the rule giver, He is the law giver, and then He has given a law. But when He gave the law, He gave it to a human being to explain it to us. So whenever we read just the Quran, we look at the commandments of God. And whenever we find it difficult to understand, then we start asking ourselves, how did the Prophet explain it? So this explanation sends us to the body of literature that we call the Hadith. And then how did he live the Quran? So it also sends us to the body of practices that we call the Sunnah of the Prophet. And so it is based on how he commanded us, based on how God commanded him to command us. And it is telling to understand that when God commanded the prophet, the first thing he said is, "Oh prophet, tell your wife and your daughters and the wives of the believing Muslims and the women of the believing Muslims that they should cover themselves completely from head down to toe. And then the only thing that is allowed to be visible are those that are naturally visible when you wear a cloth." So some people say then the face is naturally visible. The definition of the hijab again is not just the headgear. That's why I was telling you I don't want to limit it to the headgear.
Okay.
The definition of the hijab for both men and women is the approved clothing for Muslims, that you cover yourself in such a way that you do not become a means of temptation for someone, a means of disturbance for someone. If you are going into a beauty pageantry, that only questions your headgear, but might not even question your dressing, because to them, you are dressed in such a way that your features, the features of your body show, then properly speaking, you are not even in hijab.
Okay.
So we put the question of hijab aside. That's why I was also always hammering on headgear. So we
Okay.
put the question of hijab aside and look at the headgear. So their problem was that she was in the headgear. But then, like I said, there are rules to follow in every religion.
Yes.
And our,
Okay. Yeah. Just go on.
okay, and our religion has made it this way that when we find it difficult to understand what the Quran says, like I told you, we go to what the Prophet said, how he explained it, and how he practiced it, and then how people practiced around him, and then he approved of that practice. So if he disapproved of a practice, it is not a practice we accept. And then for the records, you go into a beauty pageantry believing that your opinion, your subjective opinion, is that when you go into it, your religion does not discourage you from going into it. So I told her again, that is your subjective opinion. So I might have an opinion, which to me is that you are not supposed to go. So when we differ in terms of our opinions, then the best thing is to refer it to the Quran and the Sunnah. And referring it there, you ask yourself, is a Muslim allowed to show off his body after the command is that he should cover his body completely? And then the hijab is not just about clothing again, it is a lifestyle completely. That even when it becomes difficult, you isolate yourself from people. It's a complete lifestyle. When we have something we call the hijrah again, all these are tied. Am I going to be? The truth is that I ask myself a question always. Because I have seen someone's money lying down, it doesn't mean I can take it. And that is not because there is a law that says stealing is bad, but it is because of the training that my religion has given me, that I shouldn't violate someone's property. I shouldn't take someone's property. I shouldn't. So there are trainings that the religion gives us, and one of it is shyness. One of it is modesty. So all these things, when you put them together and you ask yourself these questions, then you ask yourself, what sort of communication am I sending out? Because we are supposed to be role models to people in society. What sort of communication am I sending out? And like I said, she is saying that from her observation, Ghana is beautiful, allows people to be in their cultural clothing. And so a lot of Muslims again were asking, which culture are you going to show in the headscarf? Which place in Ghana has a culture of showing headscarf? And I said, no, when we say this, then we are narrowing stuff. Because she is from Upper West. So our people up there, Upper West, and especially the tribe she comes from, which I happen to come from, we have always said that we have been 100% Muslims, or that's tribe. And so for us, our culture is intrinsically tied to Islam. So it becomes difficult to separate Islam from our culture. So to her and her understanding, having the headscarf on is part of her culture. And the Kantozi people that she comes from are a part of Ghana. And for that matter, if she wants to display the culture of a group of people who come from the Upper West region, and as part of their culture, they wear the headscarf, then she's right to do that. People are sponsoring them. So, like you said, probably Second Image is sponsoring them.
Yeah.
And Second Image also wants to show that they have students who are graduating.
Yeah.
And so they are marketing their students, and their students will come and do your hair for you. And someone has done the hair, has paid the program organizer, and the program organizer wants you to show your hair. And you are saying that it is against your religion. So once it is against your religion, in the first place, don't even go there. You understand?
That's the argument.
Exactly. And so a beauty pageantry comes up, and then I think it actually did in 2013, somewhere in Malaysia, when they wanted to organize Miss World there. Was it Indonesia? Indonesia, I think. Indonesia is the largest Muslim-dominated country in the world. So they were against it. And then when they were against it, Miss World was moved to another country that was predominantly Buddhist. And so they organized a beauty pageantry for only Muslims, with women covering themselves, even doing Quran. I think it was a Nigerian lady. She won. She was 21 years at the time. She's called Aisha something. She won in 2013. So you can see that some people tried to do it. And they tried to do it for only Muslims. And even that, Muslim scholars around the world told them, no, it is against the religion. So you see, and the Prophet told us that a time will come when we Muslims will try copying the nations before us, to such a point that when they even enter a lizard hole, we will senselessly follow them into that hole. So the thing is that we have really reduced ourselves into a nation that is always copying. At some point in time, over 700 years ago, the Muslim nation was the leader of the world because we were always innovating. We were following the commands of Islam. But now we started copying, like the Prophet told us. So even if it is not good, we just jump into it. Our women, a lot of them are bleaching in town now. But even before bleaching agents were discovered, the Prophet said, he who bleaches, he who does this is not right. But we are following the world now and we are doing it. So you see, the thing is that at some point in time, even me appearing with my beard, sometimes I'll wear some white jalabia, you think I'm the perfect Muslim. I am not. Because Islam is a school. And like a school, you always have to learn. So we are not perfect. Yes, we are all sinners.
Yeah.
I think one of the most famous passages in the Bible, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God.
Yes.
In Romans. Hey. So the thing is that even us, we are all sinners. We all sin.
Yes,
but then
that's true.
Can we limit our sins to private sins? If we can, fine. But if we can't, will we boast and make our sins public? Yes. We call certain things sins. Some people will not call them sins. Probably, I just want to do the hijab to show that Muslims can participate. No, you can't be a trailblazer for something that will bring troubles for the Muslim community. Because if you do it and then you're supposed to be a role model for others, and tomorrow other girls wake up, oh, this lady was allowed to be in the headgear, but then later she was told to wear bikini and she did it. Let me also go and do it. So you see, you've set something. You become a pace setter for something that is actually evil. And for that, we always refer you to what Islam says. That because of the transgressions of the previous nations, Allah chose us to become a middle nation. Middle nation for the fact that we will enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong, and then believe in God as well. So the belief is that within the Muslim community, and the Prophet said it, when you find your brother doing something wrong or your sister doing something wrong, stop him with your hand. And then if it becomes difficult for you to stop him with your hand, and now that there are a lot of secular laws, you can't just go and hold someone and say, hey, stop him with your mouth. So we try as much as possible to tell people, don't do it. And if you find it difficult to stop the person with your mouth, then avoid that thing. Practically try and avoid that thing. So you see, we have a lot of options around this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly speaking, if this is the nature of the program and it allows for the showing of body and hair, then you have no business there. Because I don't see why I'll wear my hijab and be in my nice clothing and then I want to enter a nightclub that allows people who are in short skirts to enter.
Mm-hmm.
I have no business there. If they throw me out of that place, they've even done well.
Okay. Great. Yeah, so
This my mouth.
so what advice will you give our sister? I think she's very hurt by this decision.
Yes. I think she said she might want to try going to the court, and I will say God be praised. I got her number yesterday. We started talking about these issues, and so probably I will try as best as I could to talk her out of it. But then my advice is not going to her. It is going to us, those who believe that we are too righteous. That when someone does something that we think is wrong, we come out at the person quickly. Meanwhile, we have our own skeletons in our cupboards there. And so the truth is that yes, when someone is going wrong, we have every right to correct the person. But you see, the way we correct people is not right at all. That someone is disappointed. At that time, you don't even know the psychological trauma the person is going through. Then you come and compound that misery. If you can reach the person privately, do that. Talk to the person, console the person first, and then try to reason with the person. But then you don't just go all out and God said this. Who doesn't know that God said this? God said we shouldn't fornicate. And then a lot
Mm-hmm.
of us who are pontificating around our fornication. Who doesn't know that? So you see, the thing is that we all know what God said. But
Yeah.
God even told us that the Arabic word that we use to address man actually connotes something of forgetfulness. Man is ever forgetful. So God gave us reminders. So God commands us and remind, for the reminder is beneficial to the believer. So we constantly remind each other that this is right, this is wrong. But you see, the moment you go all out, and especially on social media, condemning someone, you will end up doing a lot of harm because some people are like that. When you try condemning them, then they become stubborn. So you push them to even do it. But some people too, yes. So it depends on people. But generally, we try to take the middle approach where we limit the harshness in the condemnation.
Mm-hmm.
When you are going to advise someone, you don't have to be harsh. You don't have to go all out like you are the most holiest person on earth. And then also those who are supporting, you don't have to support someone because the person is just your friend. You see, where the truth is, you stand by the truth. So when we stand by the truth, friendships and enmity do not come in. If this is my enemy and he has a problem with my friend and he is on the side of the truth, this is what the Quran tells us, that we should do justice if even that justice is against our family. And it is even telling us again that we shouldn't let our hatred for a group of people lead us to injustice against them. So these are fair commandments where I know that this is the truth, and my friend is the one who is into falsehood. I will have to tell my friend the truth if even our friendship is going to be at stake. And if my enemy is the one on the righteous path, I tell him, yes, you're on the righteous path, even though I dislike you. So we face the facts as they are, we take them as they are, and then we tell people, you're my friend, but I think you could have done it better. So
Mm-hmm.
if I am to advise her, I will tell her to take heart, and that probably all of us learn from things. She shouldn't even go to the court. She should just take heart, and God Himself knows if she is really fighting for the right thing. God will give her an opportunity that is better than this one. He will give her a bigger platform. That He
That's
said
true.
she has lost 2 job opportunities. Then what I want her to do is that when she goes to look for these jobs, and then they discriminate against her based on her faith, I will be her number one supporter to the court. But if it is only on this issue, I will tell her to let it go. Because God has told us that he who sacrificed something for God, God will replace it massively for him or her. So in this case, she should sacrifice her wanting to be there, because God again tells us in the Quran that there are sometimes that you love to have something, you love to do something, but then in the end it is not good for you. There are times you dislike something, which in the end will be good for you. So I will tell her to forego this one. She shouldn't even initiate any court action. She should let it go. She should relax and pray sincerely to God and ask him for his forgiveness. Not because I am saying she has done any wrong, but because we all need the forgiveness of God. It is after we get his forgiveness, then we ask for his guidance, and then he guides us to do the right thing at all times. So my advice to her is that she should take heart. She should relax and
Let's go.
let this one go. So she let this cup pass her. God will give her a better cup to drink from.
Amen.
I've become a preacher man. I usually don't preach.